Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to keep explaining my not so berry challenge, so let's get into it. Alright, so last episode I went over gens 1 through 4. We ended with Sterling Silver, and now we're going to his daughter, Ross. It's going to be super fun. This episode I will be covering gens 5 through 7, which will bring us up to present. Super excited. Let's go. This is Gen 5 Plum Ross Holden. She did change her name to Ross Oslani when she got married. So, yeah, this is her in the flesh. She was named after a famous skier in the real world, and that was because Sterling was a famous skier, so that's what I decided on. Alright, so according to the challenge rules, Ross was a genius, non-committal, dance machine. So you can see that those are her traits right here. And then I chose city native after she completed her aspiration, which was Renaissance sim. So she wanted to be good at many different things and have many different talents, and she did it. So good for her. Yes, this is one of the most grand builds, in my opinion, that I have. What I did for this one, this is the original house that's on this build, but I shrunk it down and like cut off a little part of it on this right hand side so that it would fit and so that it made sense, because honestly this house took up like the whole lot and I was like, I do not need that much house. I don't even know what I would do with that much house, so I said no. You walk in, this is their entrance hall, this is the dining room where they had all of the family dinners all of the time. And then you have their bathroom and the kitchen. This is my favorite living room. These CC couches, amazing, top tier. And then one of my favorite parts, I got this family portrait mod, and it's my favorite. Literally, it is the best. So this is Sterling, obviously, Camden, their mom, and then the oldest daughter, Kristani, the second oldest, Lyric, and then the youngest, Ross. This is this little bar area. I kind of wanted to keep the vibes because that was in the original house. And Sterling loved to sing. Camden played the piano, and their kids grew up very musical. So this was Camden and Sterling's room. This was the designated toddler room. I tend to just have designated toddler room, child room, and teenager room when I'm going to have bigger families because it's so much easier to just move them. Probably would not do that in real life, but that's how I play Sims because it's just so much easier. So this is Ross's room, very purple. She's also super obsessed with Henry Puffer. If you'll remember from the last video, Sterling had 3 kids, 3 girls, and then 1 boy. Boy was foster care, and I had them have a Amy and Ty from Heartland kind of story, where Carl was his name, came to live with them on their farm as a troubled teen who was getting in trouble. And Sterling spent a lot of time with him and really worked with him, and it helped him to grow and become a better person, and he wanted to become a vet. So he and Ross were really good friends for a while and then progressed in their relationship to become boyfriend and girlfriend. Ross was really good at basically everything, and she didn't know what she wanted to do. So when Carl was like, well, I want to move out, I want to buy my own vet clinic and start my own practice, will you come with me? She was like, yeah, why not? So they aged up to young adults, got married, it was a beautiful wedding, and then bought a vet clinic together. I made it live-in by buying an empty lot. They actually lived on this lot right here. And then I built a second floor on top of the clinic and just put a whole bunch of stuff in there and had them travel there every single time. Okay, this is the clinic that they bought together. Again, with the swing set, it's absolutely necessary in every single one of my builds. Here it is. It's actually really cute. Oh, I'm just remembering. Oh, it makes me emotional. Okay. So this is their veterinary office. The whole downstairs was dedicated to that. And then I locked this door so that like people couldn't go in and you'd travel up to where they lived. I already deleted all the walls and all their furniture, but you can kind of tell their kitchen was here and their bathroom was here. So they get their veterinarian skill up. They get more stars. I think they were at 3.5 stars when Ross is getting closer and closer to becoming an adult. She realizes being a vet isn't everything that she wanted to do in life. She really loves music and wants to pursue that passion. So she starts prioritizing music more. It kind of puts more strain on Carl just because he's taking on more at the clinic. I start feeling a little bit of strain in their relationship, having some arguments about career, just because Ross doesn't know what she wants, but she knows being a vet isn't it. At this point, they decide, you know what, fix our relationship, let's try for a baby. Side note, don't do that in real life. It doesn't work. You need a good foundation together with your partner before having kids because otherwise it's just a mess, honestly. And that's what happened. Okay. So she gets pregnant and she has triplets. Triplet boys. Oh, it was crazy. So two of them were identical and one was fraternal. The one that was fraternal was born first. I named him Jordy. The second one I named Tora, and the third one I named Kaz. I wanted the youngest to be Orange Gen, which is Kaz, and I'll explain more about where the name comes from later. Basically, having triplet toddlers in the house with Ross not really being committed to being a vet was absolutely insane. It was insane for me as a player, and it was even more insane for them living their life. So their relationship gets even more strained, and it escalated until there wasn't much romance, and they were actually fighting on their own because they were both just sleep deprived, and the house was messy, so neither of them were very happy in it in the first place. So they decide to pursue their own dreams separately, and they get divorced, which is part of the challenge. Ross takes both Jordy and Kaz, and Tora stays with Carl here at the vet clinic. Ross moves in with Lyric, her older sister, who was forming a dance group. They dance, they get famous, she picks up piano, and she also takes Kaz and Jordy with her, while Tora stayed with Carl. This is Jordy, Tora, I'm pretty sure they had brown hair, and Kaz, right? I pulled the parent trap. What can I say? Super cliche. But what I wanted was for their parents to get back together because that's also part of the challenge, and I wasn't sure how to do that. So I split the kids up. They go to a summer camp. Kaz cuts his hair just like Tora's, and they swap places. Long story short, identical twins switch places. The parents realized. The parents started doing family things together. Ross and Carl grew to support and love each other for their different passions and fell back in love. So they moved to San Myshuno and opened up a dance studio vet clinic. This is Kaz. He needed to be a criminal for the challenge, so I figured Kaz Brecker from Six of Crows. Why not? So it is very different, but I did loosely base some of the events that happened on him initially. He had a hectic household growing up because of all the moving, the divorce, the parent trapness, and then the remarriage. So he always wanted to cause mayhem, but is really bad at being evil. Just so everyone knows, his story gets really dark, really tragic, and really twisty. So if you're not into that or don't want to hear about it, you can skip to pink. A lot of you will probably want to see his tattoos. Every time he leveled up in his career, I had him get a new tattoo. So it was awesome. I downloaded a whole bunch. It's absolutely amazing. When he's a teen, one of the big things for the challenge is that he breaks into his neighbors' houses to eat their food. So I decided he can just cook the food, and then they'll be like, this is inappropriate, and cook the food for him, and then he can eat the food. But what happened was when I did that, he set fire to the person's apartment because he didn't have cooking skill. Totally an accident, but I was also like, okay, yes, perfect idea. I imagined that he did it a few times, right? And one of the times that he did it, it was in a local crime lord's house who decided to get revenge on him. Yeah, not so great. This next part, totally orchestrated by me. His aunt messages them all and is like, I'm going to an amusement park. Anyone want to come with me? It will be during school. Kaz says, who cares about school? I'm going. His brothers are like, no, we are good students. We're going to school. So they stay. While Kaz is gone, the local crime lord seeking revenge comes and sets the apartment complex on fire, which results in his entire family being burned to death, which is why in this build you see all of the damages caused by the fire. All the furniture was burned. There's even an ash pile right here, which is horrible. I thought I cleaned them all up. I guess not. Look at that. More ash. So bad. Kaz comes back home to firefighters all around the house, all the neighbors all around the house, and the local crime lord pulls him aside and is like, you know, son, you should really be more careful with fire. And he leaves him at that. Kaz has a whole bunch of money that has been left over from his parents that he gets as inheritance, so he uses it to fix up the place and moves into a small TLC apartment. Big thing about living in San Myshuno is if you don't lock the door for solicitors or neighbors or friends, they literally will just walk in to your house. So that happens a lot. I decide he's fine with it. He's chill with it. Make good friends with the neighbors, and then they'll invite me over and I can take their food. So that's what I did. There was a teenage girl who lived across the way who always came over, and she was always really sad when she came over, so I imagined she was having like family trauma issues. And every time she came over, she would get flirty. Kaz didn't have to be flirty. There was nothing in this house. He didn't even have a TV to like watch flirty movies and then get flirty. No, she would just get flirty around him. So I was like, oh, she finds him attractive. Okay. He ages up into a young adult, and she keeps coming over and keeps getting flirty. I don't know how that happens because with Wonderful Whims, it does give the attractiveness system, but like not for teens and young adults. So I don't know why. Maybe it was just a habit that the game decided to do. I don't know. So this is where it gets twisty. All right. Basically, at this point, Kaz has joined the criminal career. He really does not care about breaking the law, as long as he doesn't get caught, right? And he's used to taking what he wants. So he and Ashley, that's the girl's name, hatch a plan that they're gonna move to a different TLC apartment across San Myshuno and live together. Her being 18 and him being a very young adult. And this isn't like Cove and Paisley, where I said Paisley was 18 and Cove was 21. This is like she's 15 or 16 and he is 20, 21. So while they hatch this plan, Kaz is also dating another girl. Her name is Jackie. And Ashley's aware of this. Jackie is not aware of this until he tells her. And they enter into a mutually consensual poly relationship where both of them marry Kaz. This is Ashley. Jackie is the one who gets pregnant and have twins. One boy and one girl, which obviously for the challenge needed to happen. Hart, I gave the unflirty trait first, and Lotus I kind of held off. For their generation, they needed to have neat, unflirty, and creative. So I had him start with neat and unflirty, and I had Lotus start with creative and neat. So Lotus realizes during high school that she is really into girls and guys. So she identifies as bi. So, over the course of her teenhood, there are two girls that Lotus finds absolutely attractive and tries to get in a relationship with, and it doesn't work because they end up flirting with her brother, who, being an unflirty sim, I didn't think anything would happen, but he totally just goes for it. Don't ask me why, I don't know. So, she kind of gets her heart broken, cuts her hair, she's like, alright, I'm done with the whole dating thing, it's fine. They age up into young adults, and I had them keep this hair, so even though it says 13, it's what they look like as young adults. He tied his hair back. Ah, I love both of them so much. But move into their own apartment, start the business career, and they form a writers club because they both enjoy writing, and they get a whole bunch of other young adults to come with them, and they unwind after work because work makes them both super duper tense. Lotus finds one of the girls, her name's Miho, attractive, and I had her flirt, but through a love email. So they gain a little bit of romance, and when they get back together the next time, I was like, maybe they can, like, have some romance happen. Go to a study room. Lotus flirts with Miho. Miho gets super flirty, flirts back, and Lotus destroys her! She's so mean to her. And I didn't do that. She literally had these mean interactions popping up, and I was like, no, no. And then she would just do it anyway. So I was like, fine. Obviously not meant to be. Whatever. So I had her go back to writing her book. Meanwhile, Miho, being flirty, goes over to Hart, flirts with him, and Hart takes it, gets a romance bar, and I was like, fine. 3 for 3. Moment when Hart and Miho started dating, I was like, Lotus is the heir because hopeless romantic who just can't seem to find love. As you can imagine at this point, I'm getting kind of worried because Lotus is not finding love, and she has to find love, and she has to have a child to, like, progress in the challenge, or I fail. So I was getting stressed out. She moves to Henford on Bagley, and I make 3 Sims for her. All according to her type, because at this point, I know what her type is. So I take her on a date with one of them, and she destroys this girl. I was so sad. I was like, Lotus, please, please, just, like, fall for someone. Fall for someone. Yeah. So I stopped controlling her for the rest of the night. I was like, I'm sending you home at 11:30 p.m. Do whatever the heck you want. She did. There was totally this other girl there. Her name was Juliet. And Lotus went over, introduced herself to this girl. They become good friends by the end of the night. I don't know how it moved up so fast. That was crazy. Even when I try and do that, it doesn't get up that fast. So I was like, meant to be. Okay, this is what we're doing. I imagined that Juliet was from a place that Lotus had gotten a postcard from during high school that she had kept up as pen pals, and that's why their friendship got so high. It's not real. It's not what happened, but that's what I'm saying happened. Lotus starts writing love emails to Juliet. Lotus, of course, wants Juliet to move into her place at Henford on Bagley because she just moved there. Juliet, however, lives in Windenburg with her elderly mother. Juliet's like, why don't you come, move in with us, and then once my mother dies, I promise we'll move back to that house in Henford on Bagley. So, that's what they do. They decide Lotus will be the one to get pregnant with insemination. So I did that, which resulted in 2 beautiful baby girls, twins. Again, it runs in the family, it's in the blood. And I had just done the whole, like, 2 twins grow up and then you choose one. So I was like, nah, first one, eldest. The eldest will become the heir, which was this one, Peony. So cute. Her younger sister was named Bridget. Meanwhile, Hart and Miho have their child. His name is Jonathan. And then the next time I visited them with my twins, he was all alone. I was like, what happened? So Miho left and took Jonathan with her and got married to someone else. Peony ages up into a child, and Juliet's mother passes away. Lotus is like, hey, remember the promise we made? So they move out to Henford on Bagley. They also have Jonathan and Hart come over. And it is then that I notice that Juliet has romance with Hart, which means at some point she flirted with him and enough to gain romance with him. I was like, Gabe, you gotta be kidding me. Are you for real? Honestly, it's so sad. She lost to her brother again. Ugh. I was upset. I was upset for a while. But then I was like, alright, game wants drama. Let's do drama. So they hadn't had a first kiss or anything yet. So I had them do that. And then they straight went to woohooing autonomously because they wanted to. And I let it happen. And of course, she got pregnant because they tried for a baby. She didn't know she was pregnant, but I knew she was pregnant because of MC Command Center. He takes Jonathan home, and then Juliet throws up autonomously. So I have her go visit them. She takes the pregnancy test, goes in to Hart's room, and is like, I'm pregnant with your child. And he's like, okay. He proposes to her, so they get engaged. So they wake up Winterfest morning. And due to a healthcare redux mod that I got, I think it's a Indigo, their mod, it does health things. So every once in a while, something will happen to your Sims. And what happened was Peony got meningitis, which is a fatal disease if not treated. So she goes to the hospital, finds this out, comes home. I am focusing on getting her medicine and taking the medicine and taking a nap and drinking water. I'm focused on all of those things. And then I see Lotus get super angry. So I go over. What had happened was Juliet had kissed Hart right in front of Lotus. So I had her chew Juliet out. Juliet's like, Lotus, we've been together for a while. And then she's like, also, I'm pregnant. Juliet then gets a call from the hospital to say, you need to come in. We think you have complications with your pregnancy. So I send her in. And she has severe complications with her pregnancy, where she has to closely monitor herself. So baby is born healthy, and I moved Juliet and the baby into Hart's household. I came over here for like one day. I had Hart and Juliet get married, and then they started their life together, totally out of Lotus's life. So we won't see them very much, unless they decide to fix bridges. But that whole drama that was initiated by the game, it was my turning point. It was when I said, why am I not recording? This would have been so good recorded and posted on YouTube. So here I am. Now I'm recording. Okay, just a few more things to bring us up to date. Peony, this is her as a teenager, but as a child, because she got meningitis, I decided that she was going to stay home with Kawaii Stacy's education system mod. So she stayed home, didn't really make friends. We had a Patchy in that yard, if you noticed. And I had her befriend Patchy because it's a game mechanic that if you get enough friendship with him, he'll start coming to life. So I was like, imaginary friend, but also not imaginary. So it's kind of like Peony's love and appreciation and friendship with the Scarecrow made him come to life. All right. Peony ages up into a preteen, the preteen mod, and Lotus nurses her broken heart by quitting her career as she ages up into an adult and becoming a romance writer. She writes some bestsellers using her failures in romance as inspiration. So Claire, if you guys watch any of her Sims videos, she made a video about updating Patchy's appearance with MC Command Center, so I decided to do that as well. Oh, So good. I think he looks so great. And I was like, it would be so cool if like Lotus starts getting to know this new alive Patchy as a scarecrow, and then as she grows in appreciation for him and starts to fall for his clumsy nature, finds him attractive. So I took him to Cass, made him a real person, and romance bloomed between them. So that brings us totally up to date, and I'm really excited to play with you guys. So thank you for watching, and join me next episode to actually play some Sims. All right, so I say that so much. You guys don't know because I edit them out because I literally say them at the beginning of most of my sentences.